Hello everyone. Cloud computing might seem like something very complex if you're just starting to learn how servers, storage, networking, and databases work. However, we're here to help explain what's cloud computing in an easy to understand and digestible way, so stay until the end of today's video to learn all you need to know about cloud computing, the basics, the types of cloud, and how it basically works. And now that you're here, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and to turn notifications on for more videos like this one. Without further ado, let's begin. Cloud computing sounds complex from the beginning, but trust us, it's easier to grasp with a couple examples of what it does. Cloud computing consists of the delivery of computing services. This can include storage, networking, servers, databases, analytics, intelligence, and software over the internet. That's what's known as the cloud, in order to offer flexible resources and economies of scale to your databases. It could also be defined as the delivery of on-demand computing services, such as storage suites, applications, and processing power in a pay-as-you-go basis. Many service providers have based their entire business on providing companies both big and small with cloud computing services, though we'll take a look at some examples later down the road. Instead of owning an incredibly complex and expensive computing infrastructure or data center, a company can rent access to anything from applications to storage from a service provider. That helps firms and companies avoid the incredibly expensive upfront cost of owning and maintaining their own IT infrastructure, which is something usually left only to bigger companies that can afford that kind of database. They'd rather pay for what they use and better adapts to their needs and use it when they want to. Meanwhile, computing services benefit from economies of scale by delivering these cloud computing services to a diverse range of customers. Economies of scale are cost advantages that can be used by companies when production becomes efficient, which can be achieved by increasing production and lowering costs. That's precisely why these types of companies make so much money from their services, even if it's provided to smaller businesses. In turn, businesses benefit from not having to pay massive amounts of cash upfront. Cloud computing provides a big shift from the traditional way businesses think about IT resources, with several reasons being traditionally cited as the main benefits for it. First, cloud computing services are easily able to scale elastically. That means that they are able to deliver the right amount of IT resources, such as more or less computing power, storage, and bandwidth when they are needed, from the right geographic location. Next up, cloud computing services run on a worldwide network of secure data centers, which are constantly upgraded to the latest generation of fast and efficient computing hardware. This provides incredibly benefits over having just one corporate data center, as even the largest companies do, on top of the problem of reduced network latency for applications. Cloud computing services almost always come with data backup, disaster recovery, and business continuity that's easier and less expensive because data can be mirrored in the cloud provider's network redundant sites. Another big advantage, because should a business undergo a data breach or for any other reason lose a lot of their data due to external circumstances, they'd be placed in a very serious problem if they don't have a backup right there. Having a backup saves business owner many headaches down the road. Usually, on-site data centers need a lot of racking and stacking hardware configuration, patching of applications, and other IT maintenance activities that take time. The need for all of these activities is removed by cloud infrastructure, meaning IT teams can spend time on meeting more relevant company objectives instead of focusing their resources on growing their cloud computing database. Cloud providers also provide a higher degree of specialized cybersecurity services than traditional corporate databases do. They include a wide array of policies, technologies, and controls that increase your corporate database's security posture overall, help protect your data and infrastructure from potential threats. However, not all types of cloud computing are the same, and not every type of cloud computing is good for every corporation or individual. There are, of course, different models, types, services, and pricing structures with each service provider, so understanding the basics of each type of cloud will help you know which one to select for yourself. The first step is to determine which type of cloud deployment or cloud architecture your cloud service should be built on. There are three types of cloud services: private clouds, public clouds, and hybrid clouds. Let's take a look at some examples of cloud computing. These cloud computing services underpin a vast number of companies and service providers. Consumer services as contemporary as Gmail or iCloud and Apple products run on the cloud, though these don't compare to the large enterprises that host all of their data on cloud applications. Another example is Netflix, which, despite popular belief, runs on cloud computing services to run its video streaming services. The same goes for Spotify. Most apps are starting to use cloud computing as their default service to host their information, with most software vendors increasingly offering their applications as services over the internet instead of standalone products as they try to switch to a subscription model. There are potential downsides to cloud computing, though. While the benefits are fantastic, there are security risks regarding identity theft, diminished customer trust, and data breaches. The first and most common type of cloud computing is the public cloud. Public clouds are owned and operated by third-party cloud service providers. Those providers deliver computing resources, like servers and storage, such as Microsoft Azure or AWS. Hardware, software, and databases are managed by the cloud provider, and those interested in the information can access and manage their data by using a web browser. Next up, we have the private cloud. Refers to cloud computing resources that are used exclusively by a single business or organization. A private cloud can be physically located on the company's on-site data center, with some companies paying third-party service providers to host their private cloud. A private cloud is one in which the services and infrastructure are maintained privately, as explained by Microsoft Azure. Private clouds employ virtualization technology to combine resources obtained from physical hardware into shared pools. That way, the cloud doesn't need to create environments by virtualizing resources from different physical systems. Unlike public clouds, private clouds don't share resources with other users. These could be based on infrastructure present in a corporation's premises data center or on separate infrastructure provided by other organizations. However, a private cloud is dedicated to a single user or tenant. Next up, we have hybrid clouds, which combine public and private clouds in one. These are bound together by technology that allows data and applications to be shared between each of them. By allowing data to move between both public and private clouds, corporations that use this kind of service are granted a higher degree of flexibility, more deployment options, and a much more optimized infrastructure, security, and compliance. Most cloud computing services can be classified in 4 broad categories: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, serverless, and software as a service. With infrastructure as a service, the corporation or individual rents IT infrastructure, such as servers and virtual storage machines, from a cloud provider. With a platform as a service, the service provider supplies on-demand environment for developing, testing, and managing software applications. This is mostly suited for developers that wish to create web or mobile apps without worrying about managing the infrastructure of servers. Next, we have serverless computing, which is also meant for developers rather than enterprises. Overlapping with the platform as a service category, the serverless computing manages the servers and infrastructure required to do so, handling the setup, capacity planning, and server management for you. These architectures can be scalable and event-driven. And finally, we have the software as a service, a method for delivering software applications over the internet, on demand and on a subscription basis. With software as a service, cloud providers host and manage the software application and underlying infrastructure, handle the maintenance, and connect to the application using the internet with a web browser, on their phone or on a PC. Most corporations that aren't tech companies will remain on the first type and forego the other ones. Cloud computing sounds fantastic as a service, but as with anything in life, it does come with its own costs and disadvantages. Let's take a look at the vulnerabilities enterprises and individuals experience before moving to the cloud. The first main risk is that of compliance violations and regulatory actions. Considering that most companies currently operate under regulatory controls of their information, companies must always know where their data is, who has access to it, and how it is being protected. Some cloud computing services violates these tenets, putting organizations in state of non-compliance, which can have serious repercussions if this is not solved or established from the beginning with their respective organizations. This is especially true for companies that have very serious information about their customers, such as HIPAA for private health information or FERPA for confidential student records. If companies don't have this information under their own corporate database and instead host it in the cloud, they could be experiencing a lot of legal trouble later down the road. On top of that, when companies aren't 100% aware of how workers are using their cloud services, employees could potentially do whatever they want with this information until it's too late. Imagine an employee who starts his own business but has no client database. He could resign from the company and download a report with all of the customer's contact information, including their phone numbers, home address, and emails. And at this point of our life, having someone's email amounts to having their home address anyway. They could upload the data from the corporate cloud to a personal cloud storage service and then access that same information when they are later employed by a competitor, but it's at the same time incredibly hard to detect, track, and act against, so it's much better to prevent that from happening than reacting to it. Finally, there's still the threat of malware infections and data breaches. Cloud services could be victims to data exfiltration, such as attackers encoding sensitive data into video files and then uploading them to YouTube. Malware could easily be exfiltrated via private social media accounts and then use the cloud's file sharing services to deliver the malware to targets using phishing attacks. In summary, While cloud services provide a higher degree of protection than most traditional databases, even they are subject to a lot of threats that not necessarily have to be what most people think. However, as you could see from the beginning of this video, the benefits outweigh the disadvantages anyways. So, did you understand how cloud computing works a little better now? That's great. Let us know in the comments below what you think. And while you're here, don't forget to leave us a like, share this video with your friends, and also subscribe to our channel for more videos like this one. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time for more.